All right. Most investors are drowning in ad costs, chasing cold leads, and still wondering why their calendar is empty. Here is what they are missing. Podcasting. It's the most underused, overpowered strategy for building brand authority, pulling in warm leads and closing those high ticket deals, all without spending a dime on ads. So if you're running a service-based industry or even a wholesaling operation and you're not using your voice, your story, and your expertise to attract deals, you're already losing to somebody who is. Danielle Hollembake, she gets this. She has built a lead gen machine using podcasting and YouTube, two channels most small businesses are still ignoring. So listen, no fluff, no fake guru plays, just real content that earns real trust and drives real revenue. So if you've been relying on paid traffic alone, you are leaving relationships, referrals, and revenue on the table. This is the new playbook. This is how the next generation of closers gets clients. Guys, welcome to the Closers Club, where real investors come to learn tactics that are working today so that they can implement them into their business right now to achieve the growth that they want. Danielle, thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right in. Most people think the podcasting is just brand building or adding value, but you say it's actually the number one lead gen channel. What is it that makes it such a powerful sales tool, especially for service-based businesses like ours?
Yeah, that is a great question, David. If you are a person who has never done a podcast before, then you probably think it's this foreign world that it takes all of your time and man, it's just going to be another heavy lift on top of everything else that you're doing in your business. But the truth is, it is the number one source for getting leads without having to do really that much work.
Really?
You do a podcast. You know how it is.
I do mine so I can talk to cool people all day. That's all.
Exactly. So the way that I think it's the most valuable, going off of previous companies that I've worked for, where podcasting was literally the only way that we brought in leads. And I'm talking number one, that we would not even run ads, and it would
really
we consistently got leads. And it's high ticket coaching is what that industry was, but it was just consistency. We'd have 3 podcasts go out a week and build those. Yes. But the best part about it is with those 3 podcasts, it only was about 4 hours a week between recording and editing, because if you have the process down and you really know how to podcast, it is so easy. And really the hardest thing is putting it up on whatever audio platform you're uploading it to, SEO optimizing your titles, your notes, your tags, and making sure that it's going to reach the right people that way. But if you're consistent, all of the podcasting platforms want to recommend you again and again, and you're going to get listeners that get to know who you are and they love you. You know, if someone listens to even 2 or 3 podcasts of yours, you're probably going to hook them where maybe they won't listen to everything that you put out. They're going to be a lot more likely to come back again and again. And Spotify is going to tell them, oh, look who released a podcast. Like, David's new podcast is out. Like, go listen to it. So it's the consistency that they, again, get to hear you week after week, and you build it up. Is it going to be that overnight win where you have a video go viral like on Instagram? No, you're not going to get a bunch of leads that way. But if you're consistent for even a few months, you can really build an audience of easy to sell leads.
Well, that's what I've always heard. Like, you know, those people that do watch that, whatever it is, 7 or 8 hours, they become, you know, really indoctrinated, and they start to, you know, not that you're lying, but they believe in the process that you're selling or talking about. So you said, you know, if you have a process, what's the basics of setting up like a podcast for somebody who maybe hasn't done it before?
Yeah. So if you're setting up a podcast, the easiest thing, and I'm saying if you're starting from ground zero, you have nothing. You have a computer, you have a cheap microphone you buy on Amazon. I mean, mine's like $50. It's not anything crazy.
Yeah, mine looks fancy, but maybe it's $100. Exactly.
They can look nice, but they don't have to be like the Rodes of the world where you're spending thousands of dollars on something. No. As long as you have a good camera, like on a Mac cameras are pretty good, and you have a microphone, start there. And then if you don't want to edit yourself, which if you're only doing audio, the editing is so easy. You can go put it out there and just, it'll take you maybe an hour a week. If you do a half an hour podcast, half an hour of editing and uploading, you can make it that simple right off the bat. Yeah. And I mean, when you're starting out, it's all about volume. Just get the episodes out there. Maybe they're 15 minutes, maybe they're 20. Just start building them up, because you got to have somewhere. If people click on an episode, that's episode, 15, they got to move back and look through all these. Who cares? They're not going to go all the way back to episode 1. Like they're going to go through the first couple and then they're going to move on to the next thing, or they're going to wait for your next episode. Hardly anyone is binging every episode you've ever had. So not everything has to be a masterpiece. I think one part of the process people get just very caught up in, and I know it's all content creation, this happens, perfection. And I guess I was born not a perfectionist. because I never cared about what I'm putting out, like being the perfect thing, which I guess is a little bit maybe in the marketing world, a lot of people are perfectionists.
Sure.
No, speed to getting out your content. That is what it's all about.
I think people want real. They want to know that you're a real person. Everything is not this glossy thing. And I think that's honestly what reality TV taught us. Even, like you look back at the Kardashians, even though now we know it's all scripted, it just looked like you were behind the scenes. So I do think people like that. Mine, we mostly do for YouTube and we do for social media. What do you use to upload it so it goes to all the audio podcasts?
So there are so many different ones you can use. Libsyn's been the one I've been using the last couple of years, but there's free ones like Podbean. That's actually a really good free one that if you're starting off, it goes and you can get it on all the major platforms, Spotify, Amazon has it through their audiobooks, Audible, and Apple. Apple's number one. But one kind of sneaky thing is Spotify has been moving up in the ranks of where people listen to podcasts. Yeah, and I was shocked, but just growth year over year, like between 2023, 24, and 2025, our listening went up by 400% through Spotify instead of Apple, which is insane because Apple's were used to everyone focused on the Apple reviews. Everyone pushing people there. No, I think it's because Spotify is more accessible to everyone's phone. You don't just have to have an iPhone for it.
Yeah. I'm an Apple Music guy and Apple Podcasts, but I think that's something. Is we've got probably 100 of these things. I probably need to go back and just get them all uploaded and see what happens.
Oh, totally do it. And if you have bank content like that, that's almost the easiest way to do it. And the truth is, audio podcast listeners, I have seen this in the last 5 years of doing podcasting, is they are the most solid listeners that'll come back again and again and again. And I mean, they'll see that download alert on Apple. I mean, you probably get them if you follow podcasts. I'll be like, oh, new episodes out. And they will go and listen day of. And it's insane. But you get to know the person. You're driving in the car and you're like, okay, so-and-so has a new episode come out. I want to listen to that. And you're going to be listening to it, kind of like YouTube subscribers, which is why I also push to put everything on YouTube. Because why not? It's already content that you're recording. How easy is it to just go and record it as a video and also audio? It's all in the same file. And the editing really doesn't have to be different. So it can be simple. I think this is one of my favorite podcasts, and they're not doing anything fancy. They're just out there and they're pushing out conversations like we're having right now.
Yeah, that's what we do. We'll take this and it's 20 minutes. We'll break it. We'll take some segments and sort of make them like little 3 to 5 minutes. And then we have an outsourced overseas VA team, and they're really good at chopping it up into reels and shorts and stuff like that. But so, I believe this now, but you've said that podcasting can outperform the high paid ads that people are running. Do you have some experiences where like that has been true, like where people come in and I feel like it's a much easier conversion process?
That is where the whole the customer journey, we'll call it, is much shorter if it's someone who's listened to a podcast than if it's someone who's coming in through a cold ad. And when your sales rep gets on the phone with them, if they're coming from a podcast, our conversion rates for podcast listeners were 93% as opposed to as opposed to cold. But let's wise though, there's a lot less coming in. We were high ticket coaching, so service industry. It was with leads a week. If we got 10 leads a week, that's a great week because you're selling a $20,000 program. So if you even sell in half of those, that's an awesome week for you. So the cold traffic just never worked as well in that high ticket coaching. I'm probably just maybe not as experienced. I know there's people who make it work, but for me, I went with what I knew. And I knew organic social, YouTube, and working that in with podcasting. This really was our key to success because we would spend between the actual paying the agency and cost of ads, we would spend $20,000 a month on ads, maybe see one conversion. But then with the podcast, we get 5 or 6 to go into the coaching program easily without any push. So if you're going for a numbers game of get as many people in as possible, ads are going to do that. And eventually they will convert. Right. It just takes a longer time. But if you're looking for those quick wins, podcasting is the way to go. Or if you have a big list and you want to educate them, I'd say start a podcast and start sending those episodes out because they're going to be educated on who you are a lot quicker.
Love that. So, you talked about the conversions and all of that. Like when people are filming these podcasts, should it be like my product, or is it more like lead with value? Like, how do you get that conversion from, something that they want to watch or listen to, whatever the case may be, and then making that jump from there to making the call? Like how does that get handled?
Yeah. So align your podcast with your business. So whatever your business is, make sure that the topics that you're talking about are focused within the realm of your business.
Right.
Throughout it, do not really sell. If there's a little quick plug you can get in where it's like,
Sure.
yeah, I have this tool on my website. The link will
Yeah.
be below. Kind of like how people plug it in YouTube. I'm sure you've listened to podcasts before and you've heard
So
people
many.
slickly get that in and be like, oh, yeah, and I have this book. You should go get it. That's the way that I like to advertise on a podcast. And at the end, always have a call to action where if you're talking about a specific problem or if you're really honing in on this one thing that made you a blog post about, put that in the description down below and say, hey, like for more information, I have this description down below, let's chat, whatever your call to action is, just put it at the end because anyone who's listened that whole time, you've earned the right to sell to them by the end.
if they've done the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are, and I love the idea of podcasting. Obviously, here we are. What are some of the mistakes that you see people making, either when they're starting out or maybe they've been doing it for a little bit and they just suddenly take a left turn and they start doing something that's not working? What are some of those?
Not being focused and having a focused niche that you're trying to go for. And also not being consistent. That's the biggest thing with anything on social. I mean, this, David, anything on social. If you aren't on that schedule where you say, I'm committing X amount of time, we're going to put out 2 episodes a week. It might take you a little time to build that audience, but you got to stay with consistency. Like anything in life, if you do enough reps, you're going to get good at it and then you're going to be successful.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. And, especially in today's, day and age, the know, like, and trust generation that we seem to be in, people are going to look you up. They are going to Google you. And you want as much, I call it like a tail. You want as much out there about you as is available, right? That you can possibly get there because people are going to want to see you didn't do, you've been to somebody's like YouTube page and there's one video and you're like, maybe not. But you go there and there's 400 videos. You're like, oh, this person is truly a thought leader and experienced in this area. So I feel like that's pretty important.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it doesn't matter what organic platform you're on. You want to have something on it just so people can get to know who you are. And I am a fan of not having anything overly polished, kind of like you were getting into the more authentic type video. So even with your podcast, you don't need the prettiest podcast studio in the world. Like you just sitting at your desk, as long as your background's on a complete disaster.
I have this is a fabric from Amazon. It cost me like $30 and I have a couple of lights.
And I never would have guessed like that looks like, hey, he has a nice background.
No, I've got one with brick and we just kind of rotate them out. I do have a little spot where there's a bookshelf behind me if we want to do something a little bit different. And we have about 1,000 square foot studio here. So we just got different little vignettes that we can move around to.
See, but that's good because it gives you variety. It gives your viewers variety. Yeah. And as you build up, I mean, you do so many of these a week. Like you need to have some variety there.
Yeah.
Starting out. Anything works. Like,
well, I'm looking for the magic camera that tries to make this look like a face not for radio. So that's what I'm working on. But don't put the soft filter on. Make it look good.
Oh, AI is gonna get there. Don't worry.
God, I need it. I need it badly. Like I need the Snapchat filter for Restream. That's what I'm looking for. So once you start doing this, like, how do you track it? How do you know if you're being successful? What are some of the things you should look at?
Yeah, so that is, as you get a little more advanced, you're going to want to track every link that you put anywhere in a podcast, whether you do it like GHL, go high level, that's very easy. Anything that has its own funnel pages, make a funnel page for the podcast listeners to go to, have it be a trackable UTM, or if you're tracking everyone in GHL, it already is going to track when they click on it. And make sure that you're seeing what podcast episode they came from, what was the topic, what was the topic we talked about, or if you have guests, at first you probably want to guess, but as you get guests, did they really like when, David came onto the podcast? Maybe they want to know about more about REI closing or that type of business world. Make sure that you're tracking that weekly because you want to know what your next topic should be, just like you do with social media at any kind, is you're going to track, hey, this topic really took off, or this hook was good, or this title was good. Let's try to just rework it a little bit and use it again and again and again.
Oh, I love that.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And how, and I don't really know this, how detailed can you get with YouTube and looking at all that stuff?
Oh, you can get really detailed. I mean, YouTube, with their advanced analytics, you can dig in for the lifetime of whatever videos you posted and see
Really?
what's been performing. One of my favorite things about YouTube, and any marketers out here, you need to know this.
Okay.
YouTube, because like months, years down the line, we'll have a video that is still performing every day. And sometimes it will not perform the first couple of months, and then it will just hit if you have that right SEO word, or if something trending happens and your video has that authority through SEO that you put in, through the actual content. A cool thing about YouTube with AI is whatever you say, even if you don't do the whole transcription and like put your own transcripts in there, it still reads it all. So it knows what your video is about. It knows if you're clickable for whatever someone searches, because it's a search engine. YouTube's a search engine. So if you're not on YouTube, you should, because with AI now and AIO and different segment of SEO now with AI, get on YouTube, because it's like a new reading source for you to found.
So how important is that title and the description that you put underneath?
Super important. Those really need to match whatever you're saying in your video, as well as your thumbnail. When it comes to YouTube, you want a clickable thumbnail, but AI's gotten pretty good at reading if it's just clickbait as compared to, hey, this actually matches what I'm seeing. And it is helpful if it's you looking like you're in your podcast studio, and people then, because then they relate. They click on the thumbnail, and whatever they click on, they're related to the video of, okay, I clicked on what I thought I was going to get. So they're going to have that watch time. And watch time on YouTube's huge. Try to get at least 40% watch time, which is sometimes hard with podcasts. If you have an hour podcast, that might be a little harder. But I shoot for at least 40% if you can, if you have 30-minute podcasts.
Wow. I would have you look at my YouTube channel, but now I'm afraid I would get a bad grade. It'd be like we're in a mastermind together, and Sam, he looked at my social media and just beat me up like there was no tomorrow. It was terrible. Oh, it was. But
you're doing better than me on social, so
I got lucky. But everything he said was good. Like, I adopted all of those things, and every one of them is working. So it's really great. So if you guys are looking for a great social media mastermind, let me know. Reach out to either one of us. We're both in the same one. So this is amazing. You're absolutely an industry expert, and I know that so many companies come to you for help with doing this stuff. Where's the best way for people to get a hold of you, or to learn more, or just to see all the crazy stuff you have going on? You are like the most crazy mom, workout, fitness person I know, and you've got probably the healthiest person in real estate and the least healthiest person in real estate all together here. But what you do is really inspiring. So where can people follow you at?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. It's Danielle Hollembake. That's my handle. DM me any questions that you have. And I'm here for you. I'm always in Instagram, so that's the best way to connect to me.
And you answer all the messages and do all the things. You're answering me at like 7 o'clock this morning or whatever it was. I don't even know what time it was. Danielle, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. I'd love to have you come back and we can like dig more into some of the other social media stuff, because really you've got so much insight and knowledge about it. I think it'd be really helpful for people.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. Awesome. This is fun.
All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.